Welcome to the Babies in Business Podcast. Join your hosts, Rachel and Avram Gonzalez, real-life parents and business partners. Each week on Babies in Business, Rachel and Avram create a space for entrepreneurial parents to find their own way. They'll dive into insights on topics like leadership, efficiency, self-awareness, budgeting, and human psychology as they nurture their family and build their business. Here's your hosts, Avram and Rachel.
Say it, Rachel.
I am an Olympian.
Say it again.
I am an Olympian.
Where does this come from? Where's this inspiration?
So it was one of our Genesis X classes on Tuesday nights when we're with Cortland, and he was talking about how there are like 5 or 6 laws and how we can create change, and these things must be. And the one that was the most impactful for me was thought is the most powerful form of energy, I think he put it. And just the thought, like he said, you can go to the gym and you can say, I'm an Olympian, and you show up different. And I took it the next day and I was different. My body showed up different. I swear, when I was running, I felt like my hips shifted. I felt like my ankles aligned in a different way. I swear, we have these heart rate monitors at Orange Theory, and it shows you your beats per minute or whatever that is, the heart rate. And I swear, when I was saying that, my heart rate went down, even though I was feeling like there was a lot of energy maybe, but my heart rate went down. It was like I was functioning more efficiently. I wasn't exhausted. I was showing up, and I was an Olympian. I felt it different. Lifted heavier. Instead of looking at the 25-pound weights and saying, I can't do that, I was like, maybe I could do 30s. I'm going to try 30s. I just showed up differently.
So Rachel shared this with me, and I was like, this is a great podcast topic because I'm going to ask you the same questions that I did off air like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. She doesn't know that yet. This is not in the outline. Rachel, tell me about some of the internal dialogue that would normally occur in the gym. Let's start with while you're on the treadmill.
This is too hard. I can't do it. It's really long block. I hurt. When you look to the right, look to the left, and you see the people next to you, what are you thinking? I'm thinking, I'm not there. I'll never get there. They're running. I'm power walking. I'm walking up a hill, and I'm sweating bullets.
Okay. What about when you're on the floor and you're doing some, like, squats?
Oh, gosh. I'm thinking, man, my pelvic floor, I feel a lot of pressure, or whatever the things are. Mostly, I'm looking around, I'm comparing myself to other people as well. It's like they're lifting heavier weights, and I'm down at 15 pounds, or whatever weights I'm pulling, and I'm just comparing myself and looking at how far behind I am.
So it's like when she told me all this stuff, it became really obvious to me why the gym has been so difficult for you to go to.
Yeah, I mean, I get up every other day or when I'm scheduled to go, and I go, but I'm pretty much groaning the whole time and just slogging through it. It's a really difficult thing for me to do physically.
Yeah. And it makes so much sense why it is all these things when you start to unpack all of the thoughts that are happening over and over and over again, just in a single class.
Yeah.
Yet alone hundreds of them.
Yep.
And this was like foreign to me. Right?
You were blown away when I told you these things. You're like, wait, what?
It's like, wait, those are your thoughts, the internal dialogue that's happening in there? And then she's like, what are you thinking?
You're like, I was blown away with how you thought.
Yeah.
So let's hear what you thought, what you think when you're at the gym.
It's just like, I can definitely do this another 5 minutes. I can definitely push a little bit harder.
Yeah.
I'm looking over to the right and I'm like, man, they're going fast. I bet I can do that too.
Okay, I could blame it on your personality. That is how you have shown up through our entire relationship. You've always been the person to say, if someone else can do it, so can I. And I look at other people and I say, someone else is doing it, there's no way I could do it.
Yeah. One of the really key things that came and is coming out of our Genesis X experience, and if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you've been hearing us talk about Genesis, we're going to put this in the show notes. because I'd highly encourage you to check it out if you're somebody who wants to achieve more, if you've maybe plateaued in some part of your life, or you feel like maybe you're in a slump. This is something that can get you right out.
You feel like everything that you've ever achieved has taken massive effort and like determination, and you're just pushing through. And I'm not saying that Genesis makes it any easier, but it definitely gives you the tools so that you can really see a change.
Yeah, we'll pop it in the show notes. 3-day experience, all virtual, don't have to travel for it. Incredible experience, great facilitators. We'll put other past podcasts we've mentioned it in the comments. So you can go to babiesandbiz.com/99, that's this episode, and the show notes for it. So one of the things that was shared is the moment that you compare something, this is one of the laws that Cortland shared, it's like the law of relativity.
Yeah.
Once you compare one thing to another, now you have a label. So,
Right.
you know, this is the example in class, a 5'5" person would say, I'm 5'5".
That's just a fact.
That's just a fact. When somebody says, I'm 6'3", now the 5'5" person is short and the other person is
tall. But without those two pieces of information, it's just facts. And it really means...
It means nothing. And so in Rachel sharing all these thoughts that are occurring inside of a single Orange Theory class is like very clear that the judgments are all being derived by comparison.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Comparison is going on all the time for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think
Pre-Genesis. For me, the comparisons don't end with comparison. It ends with creating meaning and that I am bad, wrong, lesser than, further behind than, all these really negative things in my head making me wrong, bad, unlovable, unworthy, all these different labels that I put on it. And I'm just, in my head, chewing myself out a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And really being frustrated. Like, yeah, there.
The gym is a great example because you've also expressed to me in the past, I get on the rowing machine and it hurts.
Yeah, not that day when I was an Olympian, and every day since then.
Correct.
And I swear my hips, like there are times when I'm on the rower and I feel like my hips are going to lock up. I literally have to stand up and stretch to get the stuff that's going on in my hips to calm down enough to actually do another row.
Mm-hmm. And for a while, I was like, there might be some just stuff that you're working through physically.
Yeah.
And then over time, I was like, you shouldn't be in pain.
Yeah.
But again, it all makes sense because the self-talk is essentially the opposite of I'm an Olympian. It's I am a failure. I'm not good at this. I'm all these things that I'm not. And so what does the body do?
It meets that reality. It literally makes that my reality.
Yeah. And it's not just saying it once or twice that makes it that reality. This is the compound effect of this thinking over and over and over again. And the body goes, your wish is my command.
Yep.
Yep. And the whole purpose of sharing this is we show up as how we see ourselves in the world.
Yeah.
We label ourselves and create an identity for ourselves, often based on comparison of others and their journeys. We now decided how we fit into this reality and where we are. We're like, now we're this person.
Well, even if their destination is a different place, say, just with the map and with flying on an airplane, say someone is going to Maine and I'm going to California, and I'm looking at their journey and comparing mine to theirs and saying I'm nowhere close to to where they are, but I judge myself as bad because I'm not as close to the destination as they are. But really, in reality, they're going in a totally different direction than I am. Yeah. I think there's another story that came up for me through this. So it was after I had heard I am an Olympian. It was that, I believe it was that day. Let's see, that's Tuesday. No, it was that next Monday, I believe. That here I am. I get the kids out, ready for school, get them ready, put them in the car. We get to school and I realize as I am taking out my 3-year-old from the car that he doesn't have shoes. And I immediately started going internal into my head. Well, what happened was I became aware of the initial thought that I had when that happened. My initial thought was, I am not a good mom. How do I love my son, but how could I have forgotten his shoes if I loved him? And I made it mean something. And I had to go all the way back home and then get them back to school. And they were going to be like 10, 15 minutes late. And then I would
Maybe
be late.
miss breakfast.
Miss breakfast, just all these things. And I felt this in an instant and I noticed it. And then I calmed down and I became present and I remembered that my thoughts create my reality. And I just said, you know what? I did forget your shoes. And that doesn't mean anything about me. That was a breakthrough. I think that's a first for me because it's always about me and I'm berating myself and having all these judgments. So all the way home, and if you have children, you know what this reality is. All the way home, about 10 to 15 minutes, my 3-year-old is saying, Mommy, why we forget my shoes? Mommy, why forget my shoes? And he would ask me over and over and over. And in my previous reality where I'm berating myself, I wouldn't have the patience to answer a 3-year-old's questions about why I was such a careless mom to have forgotten his shoes. But in this reality where I actually chose my thoughts and I was just simply present with it and it was just a thing that happened, it didn't mean anything about me, I was able to say, you know what, Lincoln? And then just say whatever it was. One facet of maybe why I forgot his shoes. And it was just fun and funny and more of a joke. It did not mean anything about me. And I felt like chains were released from around my ankles, my neck, my whole body.
Yeah. You stopped comparing yourself to the image of what you think is a good mom.
Yeah.
Good moms remember the shoes. Bad
Yep.
moms don't.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's something just
Good moms
so
are on
simple.
time. Bad moms aren't. All these things.
Simple,
Yep.
but it's everywhere.
Yep.
And so bringing this full circle for the Babies in Business podcast, we're here because we're business owners, building a business while raising a family.
Yep.
How you see yourself as a business owner directly affects everything in your company.
Yes.
It affects the people that are working for you. It affects the outcomes that are produced by your team.
Sure.
It affects the revenue that's created. It affects the problems that come up and how they're solved.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
It affects everything, right? If you identify with always being busy, right, or always putting out fires, here's a good one. It's always a shit show on Mondays.
I bet your Mondays are.
We used to have some of this belief that was like every time Monday happens, it's always just a lot to
We better
deal with.
clear the calendar because Mondays are going to be bad.
Mondays, there's always a lot of stuff going on. And that was just a perspective, some identity that we had created. And then what we're looking at is look at how we have arranged everything else in our reality to make that possible.
Yeah.
We used to work all the way through Fridays on action items.
Right.
So what that meant was there was no planning for the next week.
Ugh.
So it was like,
And then you're met with this really hectic feeling Monday, not just on the planning side, but on the maybe client-facing side, and there are things that you need to put out. But like you said, we got what we envisioned and saw and anticipated.
yeah, your subconscious helps you plan your week in a crappy way so that it creates that Monday every single time. And you're like, why does this always happen?
Yep.
You look at it and you're like, well, that's obvious, but no, the mindset that created that is the part that's sneaky.
Sure, and sometimes the solutions that we think we need to come up with is more on the mechanism side. Maybe if we gave more time to this thing or that thing, or maybe if we did our planning this way, or maybe if we did that. Well, it really does come down to our mindset and what we're thinking. Like when I was at the gym and I was an Olympian, I say, that's my mantra at the gym now. And I show up totally differently. My muscles work differently. I can actually like tune into my body and whatever motion I'm doing, I actually call those muscles into action to actually do the thing.
I got a fun little reference for you.
Mm-hmm.
This reminds me of Napoleon Hill's Invisible Council that he talks about in Think and Grow Rich. So there's a whole chapter on the Invisible Council. And so what Napoleon Hill would do is if he had a question, he would pose it to his Invisible Council. And the Invisible Council was made up of people that he admired and found full of wisdom, both alive and dead.
That's so cool.
Right? And so what he would do is he would bring the questions to the council, and then he would listen and bring through the answers. So what he was doing was he was tapping into this infinite consciousness of what this council was made up of. And pulling through them and pulling out of them what they would think about the question posed. So when you say things like, I am an Olympian, and you are and choosing to embody that, and you're like playing with that energy, you are tapping into all of the energy of the Olympians.
Yeah.
The people who are playing at the top of their game. And your body feels this. It receives all of it, and it starts showing up in a different way.
Yeah.
Super
well,
cool.
And that day, the very first day that I used that I am an Olympian mantra, I felt myself, so I was at a pace, I don't even remember what the pace was, but I was there. And then I was on the track in like this Olympic field, like there was the torch and there was this huge crowd and there were runners in front of me and I was going around a turn and I needed to pick up speed a little bit just to make it over the next hill or make it just past them. And through this turn, and I did, and I actually picked up my pace and I was able to do it. Whereas the way that I was showing up previously was I would never have seen myself in an Olympian setting, like there physically, but I really did feel like I was there. It was really cool. And the spurt of energy that came was like, your legs can do this. Your body can do this. You've been training for years for this. You've got this. It was
So
really
powerful.
cool.
So powerful. As you can tell, we're pretty hyped up about this Genesis thing that we've experienced. Whenever we tell you about it, whenever we invite you to it, just know there is no compensation or incentive for us to do it. It is purely the joy and the excitement that we have for you, inviting you into the possibilities that we've now seen, felt, discovered, and are enjoying the fruits of what we've done.
When you rise, we rise. All ships rise with the tide.
That's right. So if you go check out the show notes, babiesandbiz.com/99, you can find the information for Genesis. You can register for that class should you choose to do it. And if you do, we'd love to hear about it. Love to know what weekend you registered for.
Yeah.
Because we can't wait to hear your experience following day 2. Pretty cool. Do you have anything else to add about being an Olympian?
Everything that we need to create the change that we so desperately want in our life is within us. Thoughts create reality.
And with that, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Babies in Business podcast. Who do you know that would benefit from hearing this episode? Share it with them and post about it on social media. You can find the show notes for this episode, free downloads, and connect with the rest of the community at babiesandbiz.com. We'll see you next time.